Hey everyone, welcome to the Needle Plop. It's your boy, music's favoriteest music, internet busiest music critic, Joseph Fantimo here, and today I'm going to review a new album. Now let's see what record the Needle Plop's on today. Hit that theme song.
Reviewing music's totally cool. I love music. I turn my record player on. That goes the needle.
Today we're going to review Oso Oso's new record, the Yunahon Mixtape. Now this record was released last week on Friday the 13th for free up on Oso Oso's Bandcamp website. He dropped it unexpectedly, kind of like Beyonce did with Yancy back in the day. Now I'll try to give some of you a brief overview of Oso Oso in case you've never heard of him before. It's the guy who used to be in the band State Lines. I think his name is Jade Lilytree, but maybe he goes by something different now because people change names sometimes. It's hard to keep track in this world. Now this guy used to be in the band State Lines, and Oso Oso was his side project from that band, but now after State Lines broke up, this has kind of become his full-time band, and it actually went through some name changes. So we started out Oso Oso Oso, all one word, but then he split up into just Oso Oso, 2 words, and that's pretty much where we are today. So this record is possibly, I might say, the first great record of 2017 so far. It's full of just catchy songs. If there's one thing Jade knows how to do, it's write catchy songs with hooks. There's just a bunch of earworms, full of earworms. This record is filled with just songs in the style of emo, pop punk, whatever you want to call it, but it rocks. Now, there are some weird little bits on this record I want to point out. The singer likes to do a lot of oohs and ahs in a very kind of high-pitched voice, and he actually sings in a high-pitched voice some of the time. But this isn't like his normal singing voice. It's almost like he's using this fake higher register he's created for himself to kind of accent what he's singing about. So you'll hear a lot of things like this. But he really sings like this. Also, there are a couple passages of lyrics that he sings on this record where it kind of sounds like either he sung with a bunch of bees in his mouth, or he taught a bunch of bees how to imitate his voice and sing like him. It's kind of a weird production choice, but in the context of the songs where it appears, it actually, I think, adds some kind of unique quality that a lot of other records don't have right now. So I want to give props to the band for making that decision, or the producer if it was his out of left field idea to do that. Now this record is just filled with a bunch of songs with guitars and vocals and drums, but the lyrics, there's a lot of lyrics about falling and slipping. Sounds like this record was probably written to try to help the singer get over his fear of falling, either in front of people or by himself or on wet pieces of concrete. It's kind of unclear, but just to give you an example, here are some lyrics from some of the songs. So on the first song of the album, called The Cool, there's a lyric that goes, "So when you fall down, make sure you get back up." Obviously this is about falling down and trying to pick yourself back up after you've fallen. To my point, there's also another lyric that goes, "You always find a way to slip." That one's on The Walk. It's the second or third song on the album. And one more example of the through line on this record of slipping and falling is in the song The Bearer of Truths, where the singer goes, "Slip to get away. Left a scar in the worst place." Now obviously he's slipped and fallen many times where he has scars and bruises and memories and reminders of all the times he's fallen. So like I said, I really think he was trying to work through some of these bad memories he's had of bad falls. But don't let that deter you from this record. It is a really rockin', bangin' record, I think, filled with a bunch of great songs and guitars, for sure. Now, if you've been an old fan of Oso Oso, maybe this new album you might think, oh, whoa, he's really changing his sound a lot. But I'd have to disagree. I don't think it's that far of a change from the old records. Like, I used to know Monsters or whatever that album was called. You know, you had that one record, I think it was about bears or something. And this one's called the Yunahon Mixtape, and it's about falling. Now, if you decide to pick up this record and give it a listen, give it a spin, I will say to warn you that there is a Christmas song on this record, and it's the second song on the record. It's called Reindeer Games. And I wanted to warn you about this because, you know, going into this emo, Twinkle Daddy, punk rock, pop punk kind of soundscape that Jade is creating on this record, you might not expect a Christmas song. Now, it doesn't really sound like Christmas songs that we're used to, like Jingle Bells or Santa Claus is Coming to Town, but he sings about being a reindeer to what I can only assume might be a girl that he's fond of, or a guy, or maybe his pet, I'm not sure, but it's about being a reindeer and staying in a place where I guess you want to be a reindeer, maybe like the North Pole. So just forewarning on that, but don't let that deter you from the record. It's still a great record. Lots of killer vocals and the, you know, kind of fakey, high-pitched vocals I told you about, and the B vocals. But like I said, there's a lot of weird kind of mixes on this record of styles, of influences, but I really get the sense that the band and whoever recorded this really had a full idea of what they wanted to accomplish when they went into the recording booth to record this record. And I really think they came out ahead on this one, guys. I really think this is a step up in a big direction for the band from their previous two outings. Now, one more thing I have to say about the record is that there's actually no physical copy of the record that you're able to purchase. So I'm not really sure why we still call this a record, since there's not actually a record. It's more just like a collection of songs that's been put together by the band in an order like most albums are, but there's no physical record here. It's all digital, but it's free, so that helps. Maybe there's plans to produce a record eventually, but for now all you can do is download it and put it on your phones or your computers. Now, it is called the Yunahon Mixtape, so maybe that's what they were going for here. Instead of an actual record, it's really a mixtape. It's a little confusing, and it's really only for the top tier music nerds out there like myself, but I think this is an important distinction to make while reviewing this record, that it might not technically be considered a record to some people. It might be more of just an album or a mixtape, pure digital and free. So that's about it, guys. I really think I've reviewed this record to its fullest potential as I can. So let's get to the reviews and the numbers. So I'm going to give this record probably, I'd say an 8 needles out of 10. Because, like I said, it's filled with great songs, vocals, guitars, basses, drums, high-pitched vocals, and Bs. And I really don't think there's a single bad song on the record, which is pretty impressive. Now, the reason I'm deducting 2 points here is because there isn't a physical record to, you know, put the needle on of the record player, so it's just kind of confusing to some people to call it a record. But like I said, we can call it an album or mixtape or whatever, but that's just a small thing. But I just feel like there's a lot of top tier music nerds out there that are going to get confused and a little upset, so I'm going to take a 1 point off for that, for them. The other point is coming off because I just feel like I can't give everything a 10 out of 10 right off the bat. You know, I just don't think it's fair to all the other albums. It's so early in the year. If I gave a perfect score to this record, then I don't know what I would give to other records on the line. I can't give every record a 10 out of 10, guys. So I would have probably given this one a 9 out of 10, but I need to take off that 1 point because there's not an actual record, just for the top tier music nerds out there. So with that said, transition. Now, I hope you liked this review of Oso Oso's new record, the Yunahon Mixtape. And if you didn't, well, let me know in the comments. If you did, please subscribe.